Okay, so this is the continuation of the grade 10 lesson. It's called 2.2 Slope as a Rate of Change. We've done the first part together as a class, and now we're going to do example number 1 on this video. So you will need your sheet that says 2.2 Slope as a Rate of Change to follow along. The learning goals of this example is that we are learning to calculate the slope and the rate of change of a relation, and we're also learning to understand their meaning. So not only are we calculating, by the end of this lesson, you should also understand what slope actually means, what rate of change actually means. So if you go to example number 1, it says finding the slope of a line. I'm just reading from the worksheet. It says that you decide to track the amount of money you have in your checking account. You've got a job, so you're depositing money into your account, but you're also spending some of it too. So you want to know exactly how much are you adding into your account every month after you figure out what it is that you're deducting. So on the left-hand side of the page, I've got a chart for you. So in month 1, your checking account balance is $110. Maybe you just started that job. You just started saving. Month number 2, you've got $180. Month number 3, you've got $250. 4, you got $320. 5, you have $390. 6, $460, and 7, $530. So before we start asking questions about slope and rate of change, first, number 1 just says to graph your checking account balance. So because I'm a kind teacher, I have already put some graph paper down there for you, and I've already given you the lines that looks like this. We're just going to come up with the numbers together. So in general, whenever you're labeling a graph, we have to label one of the axes months and one of the axes balance. If you don't remember this from grade 9, the bottom axis is always called X. So I'm going to put an X there. And the vertical one is always called Y. So rule of thumb is when you've got a table of values like this, the one on the left is usually X and the one on the right is usually Y. So it's exactly what we're going to do. Month is going to be X, so I'll put a nice big, maybe I'll do it in green here. Okay, I'll put a nice, month is going to be X and balance is going to be Y. So what I'm going to do is on the bottom I'm going to write month, these are going to be the months. And on the Y, I'm going to write balance. And this is our balance of our checking account. Okay, so far I'm just labeling month and balance. Alright, and I've gone in and added the numbers for you because I've already done it for you on your sheet because I'm a wonderful teacher and you should go and thank me. Okay, we will learn how to do the numbers later, not today. So we're going to plot out, like the question says, we're just going to graph out our month and what we've got in our bank account. So I'm just going to do the first one here. I'll circle it here so you know what we're talking about. In month 1, our balance is $110. So that means that we're going to start with month 1 here. Start with the 1 and I'm going to go up until I reach about $110. So that's going to be about right here. So I'm going to pick $110. So there's about $110. I'm going to make a nice big dot. And I'm going to erase everything else. I'm going to erase this line because we do not need it. We just need the dot. Okay. Let me fix that. Okay, so we've got a dot here. Let's do another dot now. We're going to do month 2 is $180. So we're going to start at month 2 right here. And we're going to go up to $180, which is just over $175. So it's just about there. Maybe a little bit less. I can't be exact with my pencil here. So go ahead, I'm going to erase this line. And we're just going to put it right at 180. And we're going to keep on going. With month 3, it says that it is $250. We're going to start with 3. And I'm going to go up to $250, which is right here. So I'm going to erase. And make sure that 3, it's 250. Put a nice dot there, nice dot. Okay. The next one, 4 and 320. So I'm going to start with 4 and I'm going to go up until I get about 320, which is right underneath there. Oops. And the next one, 5 and 390. Start with 5, go up to 390. Okay. So, if you've done it right, the dot should make a line. Now, we've still got 6 and we've still got 7. However, I've run out of room on my graph, but you continue it on your graphs. So pause it and finish that off. Okay, but if you've done it right, it should make almost a perfect line. So take a ruler. I do not have a ruler on the iPad. Take a ruler yourself, and you're going to connect it so it makes a perfect line. Has to be perfectly pin straight. And we're done this part. Okay, let's go to question 2. Question 2 says, what amount is your account changing by? So we're looking for the rate of change. And it says right there that the rate of change is how fast are your Y's increasing? Or in this case, it's increasing. It could be decreasing. So how fast are they increasing? Try to figure it out on yourself. What are we increasing by every single month? I'll give you 10 seconds. Countdown. Did you get it? The correct answer is $70. It's increasing by $70 every single month. You can go and check it out. That's how you know. If you weren't able to figure it out in your head, all you have to do to find the rate of change is take the bottom number right here and subtract the top number. So we're going to do 180 minus 110, and that is going to make 70. And check to see if it's the same for the next month. We're going to take 250 and subtract 180. And that is also going to make $70. And we're going to do the same thing. 320 and subtract 250, and also going to make $70. If you were to go from the top down, it would have made a negative number. So that's why we always go from the bottom up. So number 2 had said, what amount is your account changing by? Our account is changing by, so we'll just say changing by $70 each month. So it says, what is the rate of change? So we're just going to use the terminology that we're learning. The rate of change is, and we say, $70 per month. So rate of change was the first word that we're learning new in this lesson, and we'll be using it for the rest of the course. The second new word is in question number 3. Question number 3 says, oops, I'm making scribblies here. Question number 3, if I'm looking at the lesson, question number 3 says, we can also find the rate of change by looking at the graph. This is called the slope. Here we go. So now we're going to do a slope. So then there's a little definition. It says on your paper, the slope of a line is how, and then there's a blank. Slope of the line is how steep the line is. So we actually give steepness a number. Like if we were talking about the steepness of a mountain, we would give that a number. So we're going to give, if you take a look at our graph up here, we're going to give this steepness a number, and it looks pretty steep. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. I'll just give you a quick example. I have here that on the paper it says that slope is calculated by dividing the rise over run. So I've given you this equation right here, that slope is equal to rise over run. So how to calculate that is this. I'll show you. If I give you a random line here, I want you to calculate the rise over run. The first thing that we have to do on this line, and you can just watch, you don't have to copy. The first thing that we have to do on this line is find 2 points. I'm going to pick this point, and I'm going to pick, let's pick this point here. So I've got 2 perfect points on a line. What I'm going to do is connect them. And I'm going to connect them using a right angled triangle. So I'm going to bring this line across like this and bring this line down here. So first we've got to make our triangle. Then we're just counting. We're going to count what the rise is and what the run is. So which one do you think that the rise is? Is it going to be this one or is it going to be this one? Or let's do run first. Do you run on the ground like this, or do you run up and down? Well, we run this way, so that's what the run must be. So I'm going to erase my little things here. So this one is the run, and this one has to be the rise, and that makes sense because rise goes up and down, and you run across on the ground. So all we're going to do is count. So first I'm going to write, what is our rise? This is, do not copy this down, this is just a quick example, then we'll do our example together. The rise is going to be, I'm going to count how many squares this is. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So our rise is 6. And now I'm going to count our run. Our run is across here, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Oh, did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Our run is 9. So if we were going to write it as a slope, we would write that the slope equals, since it equals rise over run, it's going to equal 6 over 9, and we're done. And we just have to simplify that as a fraction. If you remember from when we did review, a 3 can go into both of these. So we're just going to be left with 2 over 3. And we're done. So now let's do the example from above. We're going to calculate the slope of the line up here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to follow the exact same steps that we did below with our line. First thing is we're going to pick 2 points. We can pick any 2 points that we want. I'm going to tell you I want to pick this point at 250, so I'm going to make a big dot here, and you're going to follow the same thing. And I'm going to make a big dot at this one here, which was 180. I can go and check my graph from that. Okay, the next step is I'm going to connect them with a right angle triangle. So here we go. Connecting, connecting. There we go. And I'm going to label now which one is rise, which one is run. Well, we know the one that goes up and down, this one has to be rise. And the one that goes across, this one has to be run. So now let's count. Let's look at the run first. Instead of counting squares, we've got to look down at the x-axis. How many months goes by in between here? Well, if we take a look down here, it just says that we've gone from 2 to 3 months. So the run is just 1 month long. So I'm going to put a nice big 1. So we've got to figure out now what's the rise. How long is it going up here? Well, it started, if you take a look down here, at 180, and it went up to 250. So how long is this rise? Well, just do some simple math, and you can see that it is 70. It's 70 long. So we've got a run of 1 and a rise of 70. So let's bring that down into our example 3. Okay, we're back down to example 3. Our rise, we realized, was 70, and our run was 1. So we'll calculate our slope. Our slope is equal to rise over run. So our slope is equal to rise, which is 70, over run, which is 1, which is just, if you put that into your calculator, what's 70 divided by 1? Slope is just 70, and we're done. So the question said, find the slope, the steepness of that graph. The steepness of our graph was 70. If I'm taking a look here, steepness of our graph here was 70. That's the number that we gave it to it, that we gave to that number, to that slope. It would also ask us what the rate of change was. What was the rate of change? It was also 70. So a little hint that's going to help you for later is that the rate of change is exactly the same as the slope. This will help you for a whole bunch of different questions. So write this down. The rate of change, so how fast are our numbers changing? So the rate of change is going to be the exact same thing as if we graph it and measure the steepness. So how fast our numbers are changing, the rate of change, is also going to equal the same thing as the steepness of the line. So we finished example number 1 together. It was a tough one. If you need to rewatch it, go ahead. We're going to do example number 2 and 3 as a class when you're finished this. If you think you've got the hang of it, work ahead until we start working on example number 2 together.